14 minutes, no code, no servers, just a single prompt box.
Yeah, that's really all it takes today.
Right, exactly. You can conjure a fully functional reasoning AI agent out of thin air. We're bypassing the traditional setup wall entirely. And by the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly how to architect one yourself.
It's a total paradigm shift, honestly. We're moving from writing software to just, describing it.
Absolutely. Welcome to today's deep dive. If you're joining us, you likely know the landscape is shifting incredibly fast. Today, we're tracing a very specific build using an AI app builder called Base 44. We're going to explore how to go from a blank page to a structured database. Then we lock down that data for privacy. And finally, we wake up a dynamic AI agent capable of managing a real workload.
It is a fascinating progression. You start with static text, and you end up with an actual cognitive partner.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this. I have to make a brief confession first, though. Yeah, even knowing how far we've come, I still wrestle with the sheer overwhelm of traditional coding. I mean, the API keys, the endless Docker container setups.
Oh,
Fighting with auth just to get a simple login working. It usually stops me before I even start. The friction is just, too heavy.
you are definitely not alone there. That is the classic infrastructure wall. Think about the traditional stack for a second. You're wrestling with React to build the front end.
Right.
You're spinning up Postgres databases. You're writing endless middleware just to connect the two.
Yeah, and people have brilliant world-changing ideas. But the logistics just crush their momentum.
They give up way too early.
Which is where tools like Base 44 come in.
Yep.
You just describe what you want in plain English, but I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
If it only takes one sentence to build this, aren't we just trading one problem for another?
How do you mean?
Like, instead of spending weeks debugging Python code, aren't we just going to spend weeks debugging our own vague English prompts?
Yeah, that is a highly valid concern. Prompt drift is a real issue.
Yeah.
But Base 44 handles this using a strict credit system. The free plan gives you 25 monthly credits, which is plenty for this project.
Okay.
But every single prompt you send uses a credit. It forces you to be incredibly deliberate.
You can't just spam vague requests.
Exactly. You have to actually think like a systems architect.
I actually really like that constraint. It forces clarity. Building software traditionally is essentially like home construction.
Right.
You spend months pouring concrete, you're framing walls, you're running electrical wires just to get the lights on.
It takes forever.
Yeah, but Base 44 basically 3D prints the house instantly. It pours the foundation and wires the walls in seconds.
So you can immediately focus on the interior design. That is the perfect way to visualize it.
Right.
By removing those massive infrastructure hurdles, your mental energy is preserved. You save it for the product logic itself.
Which brings up an interesting strategic choice in the source material. The author starts this journey with a task management app.
Yes, they do.
Why deliberately choose something as boring as a task app when you could build literally anything?
Because the simple, predictable structure of tasks provides the perfect testing ground for complex AI reasoning.
Okay, interesting.
You already understand tasks intuitively. Everyone knows how deadlines and priorities function, right?
Sure.
If the AI fails to reason through a simple to-do list, it will absolutely fail at managing a complex supply chain. You need a reliable, predictable baseline to test the logic.
So simple data makes the complex AI logic much easier to test.
Precisely. You isolate the variables.
That makes total sense. So let's get into the actual build. We're looking at creating the foundation first.
The core task creation.
Right. The source emphasizes setting up 5 specific fields: title, description, due date, priority, and status.
Right. Those 5 fields form the absolute bedrock of the application.
But wait, if we are building this for an AI, why not just create one giant text box?
What do you mean?
Like, why force the user to fill out 5 separate dropdowns and date pickers? Couldn't the AI just read a paragraph that says, remind me to email Sarah about the Q3 report next week because it's super important?
It can, but that relies heavily on constant real-time inference.
Okay.
And inference guessing meaning from context is computationally expensive and prone to hallucination.
That makes sense.
You mentioned stacking Lego blocks of data earlier. That is a vital concept here. An AI cannot build a reliable castle out of melted plastic.
Melted plastic being the unstructured text.
Exactly. If a user types, do this thing kind of soonish, that is melted plastic.
Right. Soonish isn't a date.
The AI's mathematical model struggles to compute soonish. It has no hard edge.
Yeah.
But if you force the data into a rigid block, like a strict high-priority dropdown and a hard calendar due date,
Right.
the AI suddenly has the exact geometry it needs.
It can snap those blocks together.
Right. It can query a structured database instantly without having to guess what you meant.
Ah, I see. You are organizing the data for the machine by constraining the human input.
Yes. Every field serves a distinct computational purpose. The title acts as the primary key.
Okay.
The description holds the contextual payload. The due date creates a hard temporal vector.
Right.
The priority creates a mathematical weight, and the status tracks the state machine.
You nailed it. That status field is the most crucial part. Moving from to do to in progress to done.
It tells the AI exactly where your physical energy is currently deployed.
But if you just have a simple list view, that gets messy incredibly fast.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're listening to this and thinking, why do I care about UI design if the AI is eventually doing the work? That's exactly what I thought at first, too.
It's a common thought.
But a list of 50 tasks is just cognitive overload. Urgent tasks mixed with low priority ones, it is visually overwhelming.
It causes massive cognitive load. Completed tasks hide the active work. Due dates become a complete blur. The user simply abandons the app.
So the source material tackles that organization next. We instruct base 44 to add filtering, sorting, and crucially, a visual Kanban board.
The Kanban layout changes the entire dynamic.
Yeah.
You group tasks into 3 distinct columns.
Right.
Suddenly, instead of a massive, anxiety-inducing list, you can visually see what's moving. You see what is stuck in the mud.
You literally just prompt base 44, add task filtering, group tasks visually into a Kanban-style layout.
And it writes the underlying React code to render those draggable cards.
It's wild. But even with columns, if you have 50 tasks in progress, you are still drowning. You need a 30,000-foot view.
You really do.
How do we pull back and get a pulse on the overall workload?
That is where the high-level dashboard comes in. You prompt the builder to aggregate the data.
Right. The source outlines 4 summary cards at the very top. Total tasks, completed tasks.
Tasks in progress, overdue tasks.
Right. Plus a progress bar showing overall completion percentage.
This gives immediate visual feedback. Users stop trying to track everything in their heads.
The application suddenly feels responsive and alive. It reflects reality. But this brings up a massive question for me. If the ultimate goal of this build is just talking to an AI agent via a chat box, why bother building visual Kanban boards and visual dashboards at all?
It's a fair question.
Does the AI actually look at the screen?
No, the AI does not have eyes.
Yeah.
But the dashboard's real-time metrics give the AI the exact mathematical context it needs to understand your workload state.
Okay.
When Base 44 builds that visual dashboard, it is also building the backend JSON endpoints that calculate those summaries.
So the human dashboard secretly doubles as the AI's situational awareness map.
Exactly. When you ask the AI, how is my day looking, it doesn't have to read 50 individual tasks.
It just checks the dashboard.
Right. It pings the dashboard's underlying API. It sees the integer 12 under overdue tasks and immediately knows you are in trouble.
Wow.
The visual structure you built for the human is the exact mathematical structure the language model needs to reason effectively.
That is brilliant. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're locking this data down. Sponsor. Mid-roll sponsor, read. Okay, we are back. We have architected this beautiful, highly organized dashboard.
We have.
The data blocks are perfectly snapped together, but the source material highlights a massive, glaring vulnerability at this stage.
A critical vulnerability, yeah. Right now, all of this data is sitting in a single open pool.
Which is terrifying. Task data is highly sensitive.
Exactly.
You're talking about confidential client notes, private errands, financial deadlines you absolutely cannot share.
Right now, this app is essentially a public bulletin board on the internet.
Which is an absolute nightmare for privacy. Before we even think about introducing an AI, we have to lock the room.
We need a private, impenetrable workspace for every single user.
Normally, this is the exact moment I would close my laptop and walk away.
Oh, same.
Setting up secure sign-up pages, managing login flows, handling encrypted passwords. It is a massive high-stakes headache.
It really is.
If you mess up the authentication code, you leak user data.
It is notoriously unforgiving. But with an AI builder like Base 44, it takes one single prompt.
Just one?
Yeah, you just type enable user authentication so each user has their own private account.
Hold on, I need to understand the mechanics here. I type that one sentence and the database just magically splits.
Well, Not quite splits.
How is that actually working under the hood? It is not spinning up a separate server for every single user, is it?
No, no, it is much more elegant than that. When you prompt for authentication, base 44 isn't physically splitting the database in two. It is writing row-level security policies on the back end.
Row-level security.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is attaching a tag to the data.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is essentially tagging every single task with your unique cryptographic user ID.
Got it.
It generates the JSON web tokens for the login session. It creates an invisible, mathematically enforced wall at the database query level.
So when you load the page,
The database simply refuses to return any row that does not match your specific token. Your data never touches anyone else's, even though it lives on the same server.
that is brilliant. It handles the cryptographic heavy lifting instantly.
Yep.
But this raises an important question. Isn't user authentication overkill for a simple beginner learning project?
Why you say that?
Like, if I am just testing this out myself, why bother with accounts?
Not when AI is involved. Because an AI reading two different people's deadlines will give disastrous, conflicting advice to both.
Right. Isolated data prevents the AI from ruining two schedules at once.
Exactly. Think about how a large language model works. It requires context.
Sure.
If you do not isolate the database, the model's context window will ingest the entire table.
Oh, I see.
Imagine the AI seeing your coworker's massively overdue financial report.
Right.
It might panic, assume it is your responsibility, and aggressively tell you to drop your own critical work to fix it.
It would completely hallucinate across the accounts.
It would be chaos.
Yeah.
True utility in AI comes exclusively from isolated, personalized context.
The agent must only reason over your specific universe of tasks.
Otherwise, its advice is worse than useless. It is actively destructive.
Which perfectly sets the stage for the final evolution. We have the clean data blocks.
We have the mathematical summary.
We have the cryptographic walls keeping it safe. Now we awaken the machine.
This is the fun part.
The source material breaks this into two distinct phases. First, we implement a native AI assistant.
Right. This is essentially a chat bubble that sits on the side of the application interface.
Okay.
It allows you to turn natural language into actual executable interface actions.
So instead of clicking new task, typing a title, clicking a calendar, and selecting a priority dropdown,
Yes.
you just type into the chat, add a high priority task to review the legal contract by Friday.
And it actually populates the database instantly.
Just from that sentence.
Yes. The assistant is wired directly into the database's creation endpoints.
Okay.
It uses natural language processing to extract the variables. Legal contract becomes the title. Friday becomes the date.
High becomes the priority.
Exactly. It bypasses the graphical interface entirely.
That is incredibly slick. It saves so many microclicks. But the source makes a very clear distinction here.
It does.
An assistant handles tasks for you, but it is still just an assistant. It waits for direct, single commands.
That is the limitation. It's purely reactive.
Right.
It acts like a very fast intern
Yeah.
who only does exactly what you explicitly ask, one task at a time.
It doesn't look at the big picture.
No, it does not possess strategic awareness.
So we push it to the absolute limit. We upgrade the reactive assistant into a dynamic AI agent. How does the architecture change here?
This is a massive cognitive leap. A dynamic AI agent is an AI that autonomously reads your entire workspace before it speaks.
Before you even ask it anything.
Yes. When you open the chat, the system automatically injects your dashboard metrics, your overdue tasks, and your high-priority items directly into the system prompt behind the scenes.
It looks at the whole board.
Yeah.
It understands the temporal pressure of the deadlines. It sees the weight of the priorities. And it can actually hold a reasoning conversation about your workload.
Think about the fundamental difference in user experience here. A basic assistant replies to one isolated request,
Right, you have to know exactly what you need to ask it.
but a dynamic agent stops waiting for commands.
It flips the dynamic, you log in, and instead of you telling it what to do, you can just ask, I am overwhelmed today. What is the single most important thing I need to focus on right now?
And because it has ingested the mathematical reality of your dashboard, it can logically deduce that the Q3 report is overdue.
Wow.
It knows it carries a high priority weight and is currently stuck in the in progress column.
So it synthesizes all that and calmly directs your attention. Whoa,
Yeah.
just imagine scaling that.
That's wild.
Imagine an AI looking at a chaotic, overwhelming week across multiple projects, instantly reading every single priority signal and constraint we just built, and calmly, rationally telling you exactly what to do first. That is incredible.
It is profoundly powerful. It acts as a true cognitive partner.
It completely eliminates the paralysis of decision fatigue.
Exactly.
But giving an AI that much autonomy feels slightly dangerous.
Well, absolutely.
If it can read my database and execute actions, how do we stop an overzealous agent from just deleting or rearranging all my tasks on a whim?
Because it thought it was optimizing your day.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the critical safety mechanism the source highlights.
Yeah.
You handle this through strict behavioral prompting.
Okay.
You explicitly instruct the agent in the base 44 system prompt to always, without exception, ask for human confirmation before executing any write or delete commands to the database.
You must keep the human in the driver's seat.
Right.
Got it. We hard-code a permission slip into the AI's core instruction.
Precisely. You prompt it to operate like a thoughtful advisor.
So it can propose a massive reorganization of your week.
It can prepare the underlying database queries too.
But it must present that plan to you and wait for your explicit approval before it pulls the trigger.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? Let's zoom out and recap this whole incredible journey. We went from a blank prompt box to a reasoning, autonomous AI agent in minutes.
And we achieved it without writing a single line of syntax.
We bypassed the fragile database configurations. We skipped the grueling hosting and authentication setups completely.
The fundamental nature of software development has shifted.
The hard part is no longer wrestling with the code or the infrastructure.
No, the new hard part is shaping the logic. It is acting as the architect.
The challenge is giving the AI clean, geometrically sound data to read.
Right. It is designing the psychological interaction between the machine and the human user.
That is where the real creativity lies now.
Okay.
You design the context, you stack the core logic blocks, and you let the machine do the heavy computational lifting.
If we connect this to the broader trajectory of where this technology is heading, it leaves us with a truly wild implication.
Oh, what is that?
Well, we just spent 14 minutes building a personal agent to manage our own private tasks, right?
Yeah.
It works beautifully in isolation. But what happens when these systems scale?
What do you mean?
What happens when your private AI agent realizes you are double booked and it autonomously reaches out to negotiate a deadline directly with your boss's private AI agent?
Oh, wow. That is a slightly terrifying but absolutely fascinating future.
Right.
Two AI agents silently haggling over a Friday deliverable in the background while we are having coffee.
Exactly. Your agent says, my user is at maximum cognitive load. We need to push this to Tuesday.
And your boss's agent checks the project dashboard, runs the math, and replies, Tuesday is acceptable, updating the shared timeline.
We won't even see the negotiation happen. We'll just get a push notification that our schedule has been optimized.
I absolutely love that thought.
It's coming much faster than people realize. Once everyone has these personalized, authenticated agents, they will inevitably start networking.
Yeah.
The agents will become the API of human interaction.
We will leave you to chew on the implications of an AI-negotiated calendar. But before we go, I have a quick challenge for you.
Take your own 14 minutes today. Find an AI app builder like Base 44. Start with a blank page.
It really is the most effective way to understand this paradigm shift. Do not let the traditional setup wall intimidate you anymore.
Exactly. Just start shaping your own logic.
Stay curious. Keep questioning the tools you use. And remember, spending exactly 14 minutes using zero code and typing into one simple prompt box, well, that really is all it takes today to architect a modern miracle. We will see you on the next deep dive. Our UTO music.